Hello everyone, welcome to Study with Sophia. Today's video is about a very important novel, Sister Carrie, written by Theodore Dreiser. So if you like this video, please like and share and subscribe this channel to get more such videos. Let's start the video with some information about author of this novel. His full name is Theodore Hermann Albert Dreiser, who was born on 27th of August in 1871 and died on 28th of December in 1945. He is an American novelist and journalist of the naturalist school. His best known novels include Sister Carrie and An American Tragedy. And the Sister Carrie novel has published in 1900, and this novel is about a young woman who moves to the big city where she starts realizing her own American dream. She first becomes a mistress to a man that she perceives as superior, but later becomes a famous actress. This novel has been called the greatest of all American urban novels. Now, before going to the summary, let's see some major characters of this novel. First character is Carolyn Meeber, which is called Carrie in this novel and is a protagonist. Second, Minnie Hansen, she is Carrie's elder sister. Third, Sven Hansen, he is Minnie's husband. Fourth, Charles H. Drott, he is Carrie's friend and he is a buoyant traveling salesman. Fifth, George H. Hurstwood, he was a lover of Carrie and marries her later and changes his name to George Wheeler. Sixth one, Julie Julia Hurstwood. She is George's wife, and Mrs. and Mr. Vance are the friends of Carrie. And eighth one, and the last, Lola Osborne. She is another friend of Carrie, and she provides helpful advices to her. Now let's move to the summary. Sister Carrie opens in 1889 with 18-year-old Carolyn Meeber on her way from her small hometown to the big city of Chicago. She is frightened to leave home but determined to make her way in the city. An attractive yet naive young woman, Carrie finds herself in the company of Charles Drott, a drummer or traveling salesman. Drott, well dressed and flashy, engages Carrie in a long conversation. When they part at the train station, they agree to meet the following week in Chicago. After Drott leaves, Carrie, feeling alone and bereft in this big city, waits for her sister Minnie to meet her at the station. Carrie will stay with Minnie and her husband Sven Hansen, who live in a small, meagerly furnished apartment. They expect Carrie's wages to help them make their rent payments. Carrie sits in their rocking chair sorting out her thoughts. Realizing how small the apartment is, Carrie then writes to Rod telling him she cannot see him because there is no room for visitors. Carrie finally finds a job, but the wages are low, and when she wants to go to theater or enjoy life in the city, her sister disapproves. Carrie's job on the assembly line is dreadful, and nearly all her wages go to her sister at the end of each week. Without enough money to buy warm clothes, when the cold weather comes, she turns ill and loses her job. When Carrie recovers from her illness, she searches for a new job, but without much success. By accident, she bumps into Drott on the street, who gives her $20 for new clothes, and when she decides to leave her sister's home, Drott establishes her in a furnished room of her own in another part of the city. In another part of the city. After several days of sightseeing and shopping, Carrie and Drott begin living together. Drott invites his friend George Hurstwood, the manager of a prosperous saloon, to visit their home. The visit goes well for Hurstwood, who is unhappy with his home life. Hurstwood and Carrie, they seem attracted to each other, and Drott suffers by comparison with the older man. Carrie continues to interest Hurstwood, and he decides to pursue her when he sees Drott out with another woman. When he turns his full attention to courting Carrie, he ignores his own wife and family. Meanwhile, Rod promises his lodge brothers that he will find an actress for their upcoming stage show. He convinces Carrie to take the part. Although the other actors are not good, Carrie herself rises to the occasion and turns in an excellent performance. This renews both Drought's and Hershwood's interest in her, and Carrie agrees to leave Draught if Hershwood will marry her, and he agrees. Hershwood's wife, aware of the affair with Carrie, hounds him for money and begins divorce proceedings. At the time the novel is set, a man exposed as an adulterer would not only lose his marriage, he would also lose his job and social standing in the community. As Hershwood ponders what his next step should be, he discovers a large sum of money in the saloon's safe and steals it. He then goes to Carrie, telling her that Draught has been injured and pursues her to board a train that will supposedly take her to Draught. However, once on board, Hershwood reveals his true purpose. Then Carrie and Hershwood marry illegally under the assumed name of Wheeler and move to New York City. Carrie soon comes to realize that she does not love Hershwood and has used him to escape her life in Chicago. Nonetheless, she stays and keeps house for Hershwood, who buys an interest in a New York saloon. As the years pass, their routine becomes predictable and monotonous, and Carrie grows increasingly discontented with her shabby clothes and frugal lifestyle. Mrs. Vance, an elegant, wealthy woman who befriends Carrie, begins to take her to the theater and helps her pick out new clothes. Carrie then meets Mrs. Vance's cousin, Bob Ames, who convinces her that wealth is not necessarily the means to all happiness. Carrie comes to see Ames as the ideal man. Meanwhile, Hershwood grows older and more depressed. He loses the lease on his business and spends his days in hotel lobbies, watching the rich and famous pass by him. This and reading the morning and afternoon papers comprise his entire routine. When money grows increasingly scarce, the couple move into a cheaper apartment and Hershwood gambles away the last of their cash. Carrie then decides to find a job in the theater under the name Carrie Madenda. She takes a job in a chorus line at the Casino Theater and is soon promoted and earning good money. Preferring to spend her time with theater friends, Carrie increasingly stays away from apartment at Hershwood. Hershwood eventually finds work as a scab, working on a Brooklyn trolley line where workers are striking. Although he is not seriously wounded, he is shot, beaten, but the experience causes him to sink ever deeper into depression. On the other hand, Carrie wins a speaking part in her show and earns more money. She is tired of supporting Hershwood and leaves him. Carrie's career continues to grow. She moves into a new hotel with her friend Lola Osborne and lives the life she has always dreamed, yet still finds herself unhappy. Meanwhile, Hershwood continues to sink. He works in a hotel as an errand boy where he catches pneumonia and takes many months in the hospital to recover. Around this time, Dot appears hoping to win Carrie back, but sees that she has changed and they are no longer on the same level. Following Dot's appearance, Hershwood approaches Carrie after a performance asking for money. She gives him all that she has with her. Finally, when Ames comes to New York telling her she ought to consider the other roles, she becomes troubled. Carrie takes to her rocker where she rocks and tries to sort through her life. In the final chapter, Dreiser briefly revisits his characters. Hershwood is now a homeless, itinerant man whose mind has gone. Carrie can be seen reading a serious novel, one that Amis recommends, and Rod is in the lobby of Grand Hotel. Dreiser also describes the Hershwood family on their way to a vacation in Italy and then returns to Hershwood himself and the final scene where he commits suicide in a Bowery flop house by turning on the gas jet and going to sleep. So that was the summary. Now let's see some of the themes of this novel. The central theme of Sister Carrie is the effect of the misguided and misdirected American dream of success. And there are more like women and femininity, society and class, isolation, loneliness, morality and ethics, ambition, compassion and forgiveness, wealth and marriage. Thank you for watching the video. Let's meet in next video. Bye bye.